Hey everyone, so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the look that I have on my face right now, which I'm calling this my not so everyday makeup look. So I had the idea for this video. I love an everyday makeup look and I'd love to do an updated routine soon. But what I wanted to do for today's video is show you kind of like the look I go for when I want to take my everyday makeup look to the next step, when I'm adding those little extra steps to, make my makeup look a little bit more polished, make the makeup last longer, and also adding like these little hints of glamour that still feel more approachable for every day, at least for my everyday routine. So specific to me, this is the look that I go for when I want to go from like, a 10 to 15 minute routine to something more like a 30-minute kind of makeup look. For me, it's kind of like my everyday makeup look kind of taken up a notch. So I'm doing everyday kind of glowy look with a little bit more polish to it, just little touches of glam. It's just when I want everything to look a little bit more perfected, but still not like overly complicated. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will leave all the products that I used in today's video linked down below for you guys. And without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so I did already quickly add on some of my Physicians Formula, the Essence of Healthy Mist, which is a staple on my channel if you guys aren't familiar, but I think it's the best setting mist as well as prepping mist out there, period. I think it's absolutely incredible. And at like $11, you really can't beat it. But I also am going to use a bit of the Illuminating primer from Rare Beauty. I picked this up recently and I'm still getting to know it. So I figured today would be a good day to apply some for you all. I kept swatching it in Sephora and I finally realized, like after swatching it 3 times, I'm like, Amanda, you keep going over to this product and putting it on your hand and just really being impressed with the way it makes the skin look. So why not give it a go and, obviously let everyone know what you're thinking about it. And I can tell you guys that the texture of the product, I love that it's not really thick or gloopy. It gives a really, really nice radiance. It also provides a nice kind of buttery slip to the skin. And in general, I just really appreciate the formula because it isn't an over-the-top kind of illuminating base. And those kind of products, I just am less and less likely to like them. Like as time goes on, I'm just not reaching for those. But this one, I mean, you guys can see for yourself what you think about it as it is applied. I'm also going to quickly brush up my eyebrows. So Westman Atelier sent me their new brow defining pencil. And honestly, you guys, I think that you can get very affordable brow products that are great. But I have this one, so I've been trying it out. But I thought that I would quickly call this out. So you know how typically you would like pull this off and it would be the spoolie? You actually take it out like that. And I'm like, wait, that is subtle but very well thought out, because my spoolies always break off at the end of my brow pencil because, they're kind of just wiggling there. I am not going to do my brows right away though, but I did kind of want to brush them up. Now for foundation, I could test out some other foundations that I really, really, really need to test out, but why would I? Here's the problem. I just love it so much. I love the Kosas Revealer Foundation so much that I can't stop using it. I am without a doubt going to be picking up my self-tan shade. I think I'm going to go with the shade 200 when I pick that one up, but this is the shade 130. Kind of briefly talked about this before, but I had incredibly high expectations for this product, and the fact that this product delivered and I have just been not being able to put it down, for me that really it really says a lot. So I'm going for medium coverage that is more of like a soft focus kind of effect. So I am going to be using the Givenchy Prism Libre powder later on. So I just want to make sure that my skin is super hydrated, and this is a gorgeous hydrating foundation. Obviously the base prep products were very hydrating as well. Now for concealer, I'm going to mix a couple of concealers. Of course, you guys know my Kosas Revealer concealer is, you know, a holy grail. So I'm going to use the shade 1 to brighten under the eyes. This is a really nice kind of yellow toned concealer. And then I'm going to be using another concealer that I am trying out, and I do plan on doing a dedicated video on this concealer. It is the new Saie I think it's Hydrabeam concealer, and this is the shade 2, and this is more of a peachy shade, and I'm going to use this to color correct under my eyes. And if you have hollow under eyes and you're interested in how I take care of any of the darkness under my eyes, I highly suggest that you guys check out some of the videos I've done on how I do my makeup with that as a consideration, because I have really kind of perfected it. So, and I always let the concealer sit a little bit, and while I'm doing that, I will now go into the brows. And by the way, this shade is the shade Clay from the Westman Atelier brow pencil. It's definitely a little bit warmer, and I kind of go back and forth because my brows are very naturally more cool toned and my hair is obviously very naturally warm toned. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I could go with a warmer pencil to kind of bring some warmth to the brows, but other times I'm like, sometimes a warmer brow can go wrong pretty fast. But this color I think is nice to kind of even everything out, if that's what I'm looking for. This is very reminiscent of the Hourglass brow pencil. More of a powdery formula, which I am personally a huge fan of. Before I blend the concealer, I'm also going to put on a little bit of lip gloss. So this is the e.l.f. Dunkin collab that they did. And this is like, this gloss, it's not really a gloss in my opinion. I mean, it's glossy, but it feels almost like a liquid lip balm to me. I think I kind of went in with too much. I kind of wanted to just prep my lips with it. It feels very balmy and it smells so good. It smells like marshmallow, just like straight marshmallow. You know what it smells like? It smells like Lucky Charms marshmallows, like straight up. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and blend this now. You can see that I want to save my thoughts for the review, but can you guys just look at that combo? Like, it's one that I will say I'm very happy with. We'll keep it at that for now. Just pressing that in. And my sponge is currently wet. Sometimes I apply with a dry sponge, other times I don't. Now let's go ahead into the face. I'm kind of going back and forth on whether or not I want to set first or go in at the end and use this as a finishing powder. I think I'm going to use it as a finishing powder instead of just setting everything now. So I'm going to be using the Made for Shade Bronze and Sculpt Trio from One Size, and this is the Light Trio. And again, because I'm going for something that's just a little bit more amped up from an everyday look, like for me, this look is very much something that I am comfortable with, but I want to add just a little bit, like those little touches of glam, those little extra steps that will make, you know, my makeup last longer, will make just everything look a little bit more perfected. And I think that bronzer in particular is something that you can very quickly apply, or if you are a little bit more strategic with it, it can kind of transform a whole look. At least in my opinion, it definitely can. So what I am going to do, I actually really enjoy the Skyfluff from Phytosurgence. Typically I would use this with creams, but I think for powders it works beautifully as well. So again, you can see that there are 3 different shades here. There's kind of a lighter, warm bronzer, there is a sculpt, and then there's something that's a little bit deeper. And what I'm going to do is go in with the warmest, lightest shade up at the top here. And I'm just going to use this to get everything warmed up, and then we're going to go back in and kind of shape the face. Something that a lot of people don't talk about is that you don't need to drag or do a lot of swiping when it comes to your bronzer. Taking, you know, really taking off that excess product and stamping is going to, like, if you haven't tried this, I'm not gonna say it's gonna change your life, but it's gonna change the way that you do makeup, I think. So try this if you haven't tried it before. So I'm just taking it and very softly patting it into the skin. And what this does is it kind of just ensures, obviously, like if you have a good formula, you know, formula is obviously key, but it's going to ensure that the product can kind of go in and really melt into the foundation without it feeling like you're dragging and removing coverage from the face. So that is what I'm doing now. I'm just going onto the perimeters of the face. You know, if you're starting off with your bronzer, try and keep it high. I like to kind of go up near the temple almost at first, because naturally the bronzer is going to start to come down just from natural blending of the makeup. So if you're starting exactly where you want the product, there's a good chance that it can kind of start to drift lower than you would like. So that is something that I am always trying to be cognizant of, because it's something that personally has really served me well. And I'm going to just kind of bronze up down here. I always like to take my bronzer over here on my ear a little bit and then onto my jaw. So again, we're starting up higher, pressing, pressing, pressing. If you naturally have, I mean, most of us do, like less hair right here, you can see I definitely have less. I always take my bronzer up there a little bit. And I actually really love doing a super glowy base and then going in with a powder bronzer on top, because it kind of sets everything. See how like, even though I added a little bit much there, like how easily it blends? I'm like really digging this bronzer. And something I always find useful if you just want to make sure everything is blended, just go in with a brush that you don't have product on. This one, I don't think there's product on it, but does need to be washed. And just kind of press everything in. All right, so now that that is done, we are going to use this shade in the middle. And you can see that this is a little bit more cool toned. And we're going to use that to kind of sculpt a little bit. So we are going in with way, way less of this product because we already have some good warmth on the cheeks. We're not trying to add too much product here. So I'm just going to tap barely into that. And I also like that with, you know, 3 different shades, all suited for more light skin tones. I mean, obviously, not every bronzer product is going to be great for everyone, but I like that there are options here. And, you know, for this price, sometimes you only get 1 shade. So I do think that that's really nice. But I'm just going to take it right where I want to sculpt, towards the back end here, just to add a little bit of that shadow. And you see how that kind of just like shaped everything out? It really, I find, makes a difference if you want to go for a little bit more of that shapely look. And then again, you can also take a little bit onto the jaw if you so prefer. And lastly, to shape the face, I'm going to take a little bit of that contour with this Rare Beauty concealer brush, and I'm going to contour my nose a little bit. And I like to do this especially for on camera, because sometimes like these lights can kind of just flatten out my face a little bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit on each side. If it looks like it's too much at first, that's okay. I'm taking it up where my brow naturally kind of comes down a little bit, across here, and then a little bit under here as well. And then once I have the product down, I'll just take like a clean brush, kind of go at it from an angle. Like this is actually not like a super ideal brush. Let me show you one that's a little bit better. So something like this, a smaller brush, to kind of just blend out those edges is a better way to go. And then what I always do at the end is I take my foundation sponge, the one that I used for foundation, and then I just go right down the middle. And it cleans everything up. Then I very lightly pat onto where I put the contour as well. And there you go. Again, it like doesn't do much, but I feel like it does enough, at least for on camera. And because this is not an everyday look, I'm more likely to do it. Before I move on, I'm just going to take my sponge, and if there are any areas where I just want the blend to be a little bit better, I'm just gonna take my sponge and kind of just press the product in. I would normally do cheeks now, but I think I want to wait and see how I'm feeling after I do the eyes. And for the eyes, I'm going to be using a product that I've really been enjoying. It is the Dior Monocolouer Couture in the shade Beige Mitzah. And here it is in all of its gorgeous glory. Yeah, we're gonna be using mainly this shadow. The actual eyeshadow look isn't gonna be super intense, but I am going to be doing some false lashes, and I'm going to be showing you how I can achieve more of a natural look with false lashes, which is really exciting for me because I've been playing around with a new product that I think really gets you there. So here is the shadow, and I am just going to apply it right on the eyes. I'm going to take the little sponge applicator. I actually think these are kind of underrated because they help you not get fallout. Like they really hold on to product. Not that this really has a lot of fallout to begin with, if any, but just really gets you a lot of pigment right away. So I'm just going to apply that onto the lid first, kind of concentrate that pigment. I love that color. And then I'm going to use my Sephora Pro 18 brush and then just kind of blend it out here. And maybe I'll go in with one other shadow, but I might honestly just like keep this a one and done kind of look. So again, just taking that, blending out those edges a bit. And then I'm going to very softly start blending out this edge. I don't want to take the color too far in. If you are interested, again, in how I do my makeup, because I have more hollow eyes, you can check out my tutorial on that. But now I'm just kind of building up the color. And you can probably see that we haven't been here very long with this look, and I'm pretty sure it's like almost done here. Very softly with a clean brush, all these edges. I'm gonna do the other eye real quick and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, that's just this shadow on the eyes. That's it. And that's what we're going with, at least for now. And next, I am so excited. So recently I actually picked up the Kiss Falascara Kit. So within the kit, you get basically a lash glue, a lash sealant, as well as like an overnighter heavy duty kind of glue product, which I don't really use honestly, or I haven't yet. You get lashes, and then you also get a remover. And what's basically different about this is you apply the lashes up under the lashes rather than on top. And what I have noticed in particular is that it makes for like a very natural look. You don't have to worry as much about hiding the band. You know, typically individual lashes take longer to apply, but they give you a super pretty and natural look. But I feel like this is just an easier way to do individuals. Like I'm having a lot of fun with it recently. I wanted to share with you guys what I've been doing. So again, with the kit, you get lashes already cut up for you. But what I did is I actually went to Ulta and I picked up the Ardell Naked Lashes. And look at how pretty these are. They're like super fluffy. I thought it would be fun to share with you guys these lashes and how you can literally use any lashes with the Falascara. Show you how I apply them. So what I like to do is just take the lash strip and I'm going to break it up into 3 different sections. And you can see that this section down here, hopefully you can see, this section in here is just a little bit shorter, and I find that that is going to look more natural. I typically only apply 2 sections to my eyes rather than 3. I think that these are pretty long. All right, so those have been cut up. You can see I have one that's slightly shorter and one that is a little bit longer. And your next step is going to be, actually what I like to do before I apply the bond is I like to curl my lashes. This is really going to help with not only, you know, curling the lashes and make everything look a little bit more seamless, but it's going to help with the actual application because the lashes are going to be away from the waterline and you can kind of get under there easily. And then you take the Falascara Bond and Seal Kit. So first you're going to go in with the bond, And this Bonne, like it comes out in a little mascara applicator. You do not need a lot. I'm gonna take the shorter one first, and I'm gonna apply this to the end of my lashes. And they do give you the little tweezers as well. And I like to take the very end of the lash, look into a mirror like this, and just lay it down as seamlessly as I can. We'll see how this goes. So I'm noticing it doesn't want to stick, so I'm going to go in with just a little bit more Bonne on the outside so that we can get that to stick onto the lashes. And looking down into the mirror and just placing it. Gonna just press it into the lash a little bit from this angle. And I think I'm gonna wait to do the pressing until that kind of dries a little bit. But I really, really like it. It just adds that fluff to the lash. And now we're going to go in with another section here. I feel like a tip I'm learning already is to apply the Bonne as you go. Like apply it, stick the lash, go in with more Bonne, and then stick it, because at least with filming, like what I'm doing right now, because it takes a little bit longer when you're filming. That's what I'm noticing. Okay, now that that's on, again, taking the lash from the very top, horizontally looking down, and just bringing them up. And it will very naturally want to stick to that Bonne. Okay, so those are the lashes on this side done. I did adjust this outside one because I felt like it was hanging a little bit too low. And now I'm going to take the seal. You can see it's more of like just a clear seal. And just taking it and just sealing those bottoms. Really, really like it. I just find that it's really fluffy and natural looking. And you can also go in with mascara on top, because, you know, why not? More is more. You certainly don't need to. I think that this is really fluffy and pretty on its own, but I'm going to, just to show you what you can do. I did remove some of the excess product because I don't want too much product there. This is the Uber Volume from Beautypie, and I'm just going to kind of take it through, get just a little bit more volume, make sure everything is super blended. I feel like it's just like the most natural false lash effect that you could get. It's very similar to Lashify, if you guys are familiar with that. I feel like it's kind of a combination between lash extensions, false lashes, just kind of melding all these things together. I really, really like it. I'm going to do my other eye really fast, and then I will be right back. Yeah, this eye took like way less time than the other eye, but there they are on. I think it's just more of a fun thing to play around with. Something that I have been having fun with to add on to, you know, more of an everyday look, just to add a little bit of like the glamour, you know, something that just makes me feel a little bit extra flirty. I'm really liking it. So I am going to quickly set my brows with the Major Dimension Brow Gel from Patrick Ta, and then we should probably put on some blush, because I am feeling like we need a little bit of color. For blush, I feel like I have to go in with the Saie Spicy Blush, because it's just so pretty. And I mean, look at this. I'll apply a little bit on. I feel like it goes with every look. It's just that gorgeous sunburnt bronzy shade. Blends so seamlessly as well. Look at that. Oh, I got a lash on there. Again, you can see it is applying beautifully right over that powder. So no, right as I said that, I was like, it's applying gorgeous over the powder. If you find that like the formulas aren't getting along, just take your brush with a little bit of the powder that you have and just like press it in. And there you go, you're good as new. You know what? I think I'm gonna use just a little bit more. Just want a little bit more color here. I'm just gonna take that same brush that I was using for the powder Just press it right in. Beautiful, beautiful. Now for this fancy old Givenchy powder. Givenchy. This is the rose powder, and I'm excited to see how it looks. So this is the rose shade, and I think I'm going to use a little bit under my eyes and then onto the face. So for the face, I'm going to use the same sponge I've been using. Just pick it up, tap off the excess, and just press it into the skin. More so just like in the T-zone here. Ooh, very smoothing. And then a little bit right here. That is a really smoothing. Like it looks very, very smooth on the skin. Not heavy either. So, I mean, I already knew that I really liked this for the skin, but under my eyes is where I always struggle with powders. And I have used this one under my eyes before, and I thought it looked pretty good, but let's go ahead and do it again today. And I'm always so nervous to do this. I'm just gonna really, I'm like applying it onto the sponge, tapping it off, and like really pressing it in because I don't want to use a lot. Oh my gosh. Look at the difference. You guys, come on. Okay, again, I think like there's the tendency now that I'm gonna be like, you know, really apply it on, like more is more. More is not more. I used so little and I kept taking it on the back of my hand and just pressing it into the sponge. So it is like vaguely powdered, like vaguely. And that I think is the key. So doing the same thing. I really like it. I do naturally have like, I feel like this side has a deeper hollow than this side, but even so, I am very happy with the way that it looks. I really do like when I don't powder my under eyes, especially with the Kosas. And also the Saie concealer that I used, it kind of self-sets a little bit. Similarly to the Kosas, but with just a little bit of that powder, do you see how this look has become a little bit more polished? That's what I'm kind of going for with this not everyday makeup look. I kind of want to take these clips out because I feel like they've kind of left a dent in my hair already. Yeah, they kind of did. Okay, but we are almost done. Before I move away from the skin, I'm going to use a little bit of this Merit highlighting balm in the shade Cava. I think that this is going to be super pretty, just to add a little bit of juiciness right on the tops of the cheekbones. Not much, just adding a little bit on there. Go, and then I'm going to take a little bit on the nose right there. That's it. Okay, but let's talk about the lips because I'm kind of not sure what I want to do here. Would it be annoying if I just used my Merit lipsticks that I've been talking about over and over again? So I think I'm going to use the shade 1990. If you guys actually haven't heard me blab about these are like my new favorite lipsticks, my favorite lip find of this year. I like can't get over how gorgeous this formula is. It's more of a stiff sheer lipstick that has incredible even pigmentation. It's not too glossy, it's not too balmy. It really sticks where you put it, but it's very comfortable and lightweight, but not too lightweight. It still has a good nourishing feel. And to line the lips, I'm going to be using, where'd you go? The Makeup by Mario pencil in the shade Toasty. And now 1990 from Merit. I cannot wait to pick up the shade Baby, by the way, from Merit. You guys have been telling me to pick it up and I hear you. I feel like it just adds this cool edge to any look. It is, for me, it's a very wearable kind of brown 90s shade. All right, you guys, and this is the completed look. This is my not so everyday makeup look. I hope that you enjoyed it. I will leave everything that I used linked down below. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you had fun with me. And if you did, make sure to subscribe before you go, and I will hopefully see you in my next one.